Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and on today's show, we finally get to talk to Sam Larg.
Mr. Cheesy Toasty Cheese Shack, Dukes of Scotland, all round nice guy. I was nearly said granddad to Ben Larg. He wouldn't be happy with that, but uncle to Ben Larg and all round super duper nice chap. Still owes me a Cheesy Toast Shack t-shirt.
He's a few to say. I don't know why you would call an uncle a granddad anyway.
It's what I'm into. But anyway,
yeah. So super stoked to, I've been chatting about the Toasty Shack or the Cheesy Toast Shack ever since I came on the show as a guest. So to kind of go full circle and get Sam on, who's the owner with his wife Kate, it's really cool. And hopefully you'll find out just a cool guy.
Yeah, nice chap. He's a really nice chap. Let us use Dukes for literally said to use it as much as you want during the week to do any recording we want to. I think we ended up recording 3 or 4 episodes there, didn't we?
We've done quite a few there, yeah.
Gave us food, gave us toasties, gave us drinks, gave us life.
Gave us bants.
Yeah,
and gave us the realization that GoPro is shit at recording when it's not real light. Yeah. So hence on this one, there's one camera, one angle, 3 people, no GoPro, and that will never happen again unless it's outside.
That was it. But yeah, so we jump straight into this with Sam, and we go from there.
Chat it on.
Get me heated up for the day.
1, 2.
Whoa! You're really loud.
Like Srface.
Why are you surprised by that? 1, 2.
That's
1,
good.
2.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Pete, we are in St Andrews.
We're in St Andrews.
Cheesy Toast Shack.
Cheesy Toast Shack.
How stoked are we that the Cheesy Toast Shack is finally sponsoring a show?
The Cheesy Toast Master himself is here.
So, who are you?
Hi there. So I'm Sam. I'm the owner of the Cheesy Toast Shack and Duke Coffee, where we're sitting now. Yeah, that's me. Hi.
And you're not just an owner of a Cheesy Toast Shack and Duke Coffee. You're also I hear, a pretty good surfer as yourself as well.
Well, I'm okay. I think I've been surfing for a long time, but like everybody else, age has got a little bit of hold of us, the belly's got a little bit bigger, and the time's got a little bit more scarce.
I don't know what you're talking about at all. We had the same yesterday. We ended up at a skate park all day yesterday, like filming and stuff like that. And I woke up this morning and tried to get out of bed. I was like,
you boys have got the life of Riley, eh?
Only for 6 days though. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. We were sat there last night going, imagine if we just got to do this all the time. That would be great.
We should probably clarify something as well, because I guess by habit I will always refer to it as the Cheese Toasty Shack, which it isn't, is it?
No, it's I've actually forgotten what it's called as well, Mitch. Yeah, I've got that used to you calling it by the wrong name. That's kind of stuck. Yeah, so it's the Cheesy Toast Shack.
Cheesy Toast Shack.
Which I really have grown to hate because it's the longest email address in the world. And whenever I phone a supplier, I always have to spell it out. And I'm a borderline dyslexic and I can never spell it. So we're always chasing emails.
Why don't you just make a new email address like CTS?
We done it. tctsevents.com.
It's almost as big. It just doesn't flow as well.
I can at least spell TCTS. That's easy.
So, did you grow up around here?
I did. Yeah. So me and my 3 brothers, we all grew up in St Andrews. We went to school here, and basically I moved away when I was 16. I moved out to the Western Isles to an island called Tiree. And I was there pretty much on and off for about sort of 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And then Australia after that. And then I moved back to St Andrews would have been 2016. Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. That would be about the same time I started, a couple of years after that. I guess I came back up here. So I just assumed you were You know, St
Always
Andrews,
here.
Dundee, the whole way through it. You know, you lived
my
in Tyree.
parents have always sort of lived here nearby, so we were always kind of checking in
Yeah.
and out. But I'd taken a job like working on the fishing trawlers out on the
Okay.
west coast, so
Yeah.
I ended up out there
Selling toasties.
selling toasties. Yeah, it's a nightmare in rough seas.
The email that goes with that one, though.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Well, the cheesy, toasty trawler shack.
Everyone wants it.
Yeah.
And I guess you mentioned your brothers and stuff. It's probably worth pointing out. You know, you come from a massive family, from what I've seen and the guys that I know, but also there's a lifestyle that seems to come with the Largs, the surfing, traveling, you know, just that outdoor lifestyle sort of entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Obviously, little Ben Larg, who we've had on in the past, he's your nephew.
That's right, yeah. So Ben is my oldest nephew, so my oldest brother's son. So there's myself and 3 brothers,
Yeah.
Robbie and Ben, who Mitch knows well. So I'm actually in business with Robbie in Duke, the coffee shop we're in now, and we've tried to and failed at loads of other businesses between myself and my 3 brothers. You know, we've done definitely Del Boy characters, you know, always wheeling and dealing, doing something, and we keep saying it, but yeah, this time next year we'll be millionaires, hopefully.
Have you ever seen like a sandwich shop that also sells Christmas trees? That's the place to go.
That's the Treasy Toast Shack you're
and
thinking of.
Ben,
Treasy
your brother Ben, not Nazare Ben, he
Yeah.
also has a foodery, is that what you call it? A food
Yeah.
establishment?
So we've all been super fortunate to get these really cool locations in Fife, right on the beach.
Yeah.
So Ben has a company called Salt and Pine, which is kind of food and drink and lifestyle. You know, so he does a lot of like clothing, prints, kind of like, you know, household goods, like not like cleaning products, but like mugs and, you know,
Yeah,
kind
right.
of tableware and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And myself and Robbie have got this one, which is based here at West Sands in St Andrews, which is like the famous Chariots of Fire beach,
Yeah.
and King's Barns in East Sands.
There's
Yeah.
a thing behind us there as well. I don't know. That's pretty famous as well.
I've
isn't
never,
it?
yeah, folks say there's some
is
golf
that the
course
pitching
over
part?
there.
What did you say the other day? If I was playing golf, I'd just want one. I can't remember what you called it. You didn't call it a club.
Oh,
or,
one stick.
No, one
One
bat.
bat.
You called
One-
it one
yeah,
bat.
yeah.
Just mess about. I just like, if I play golf, I mean, I do play golf. I have played golf quite a bit in my life, but I just want to hit everything with a driver. I'm not
Yeah,
interested
yeah.
in the in-between board and stuff. I just want to see physically how far that ball can go from me.
I weirdly managed to avoid playing golf my whole life, and I
Oh,
only
really?
took it up about 6 months ago,
Oh, right,
and it's
okay.
it's good. It's another thing I'm shit
Pete's
at, like
decided it's
surfing.
an age thing when you play golf.
Yeah, it's when you've given up on surfing, you start playing golf. I think.
Well, I would say that's definitely true. I'd
Well,
have to agree with you.
I think the establishment in the conversation was that you start offshore boarding because you're cool.
Yeah.
Then you age creeps in, longboarding.
Well, I've
and
always
then
longboarded, so
Pete, he got old early,
Yeah.
and then now that he can't do that, he's just taking up golf, and that seems to be the progression.
yeah. No, I took up golf for a bit when I stopped surfing. Yeah. Anyway, I've digressed. I'm going off in my own little world now. But yeah. So when did you start surfing then?
I had started surfing when I was probably came to it quite late. I think when I would have been about 19. So, like I say, when I'd taken this job working out in the Western Isles, there was a bit of surf there, and I had
Yeah.
a really good pal who lived out on Tyree, a guy Suds that was running a surf school. And he just basically had a trailer full of boards, and he was like, come out anytime, super encouraging. And like everybody else, you know, it's one of those sports that you get so addicted to
Yeah.
from the first day
So
you go,
quick,
even
yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're pretty rubbish. And it just kind of grew, you know. And then we got really into it, and basically life was revolving around working in the summer in Tyree. We'd maybe go and do a winter shift back on the boats, like over Christmas and stuff, cash up a little bit, and then just go travelling all winter. You know, we were doing that for probably about 10 years. You know, it was
So
great life.
what sort of places did you go travelling and surfing and stuff?
We were all over. Like, we obviously done the classics, you know, like the France, Southwest France trips, and then big trips out to Indo, California, Australia, you name it, New Zealand. We were kind of trying to go anywhere we could, you know.
And like, if you had to go back to one of those, you could just go back. No responsibilities, no anything. Just go and surf for a month
No
on your
cheese.
own. No kids, no family, no nothing. You could just go and surf for a month. Where would it be?
I think if I was going just on my own, like, I loved basing myself out in Bali.
Yeah.
We had like a really good group of pals there, like a load of Welsh guys we knew. and just a good crew. You know, we had a really good life there, and it was. I've not been back to Bali in like probably 5 years, but when I was there, it was still super cheap. You know, you could kind of live it up and have a really good time. But I worked in Noosa Heads in Australia for 3 years, and that just kind of felt like a home from home, you know. So I think going back with like my wife and kids and the kind of level of surfing I'm at now, places like Noosa are just a bit of paradise, you know. It's all right-hand point breaks, really easy surf, just, you know, like if you longboard, you mean it's paradise. Yeah,
that is a dream. And family trips, I presume you go away with the brothers and the families.
Yeah, we try to like always get away for like a trip together. So like we're kind of lucky. Like my oldest brother Marty, so his kids are all surfers. You know, his daughter Robin, Lily, and Ben. Who Ben you'll have heard about through like his big wave surfing. And we try and get like a trip, like at least a month together every year. You know? So this year we actually done Hossegor and Portugal over, I think we went October, November this year. And just took the camper vans down and just cruised around.
There, wasn't it, that time as well?
We had great surf, We had a right mix of like big stuff for like Ben, where me and his father just we just sat on the beach and drank beer, you know. And
it's a good chance to bring that one up, actually. So how long's Ben's dad fainted for when he gets nervous?
This is like a relatively new thing, you know, which is like I think it's tied in to like the anxiety Ben causes him through like surfing in these big waves, because even as his uncle, I feel it too, you know, like when you go down and watch somebody like you care about and love so much, putting themselves in a situation, you're just like, I would hate to be his father or mother, you know. But it seemed to kind of stem from that, like, because it just came on all of a sudden, like this kind of almost like anxiety related to, you know, to Ben. But he seems to be getting a handle on it actually now.
Yeah, well, I suppose once he's done Nazare, there's nowhere else to go that's bigger, is there? So
there's probably some more sketchy spots that are on the radar for him. So it's a test for Marty.
We'll just leave it as that though. For
Marty, Marty, he's not doing anything else. He says he's going to hang up the hat. And I remember you saying, I think when we first met, and you, I don't know where you've been. You've been on a bit of a family surf trip somewhere with little Ben. He must have been like 12. 13, and it was a boat trip, and you were worried about Ben going out because it was quite big and heavy. And that quite quickly transpired to be the other way around, even at 12, and he was worried about you guys.
It was, so definitely. I remember that we had gone out to, like, again, a family trip out to Bali. I had been out there with my wife for like a couple of months, and I'd really like switched off. I was surfing loads, like going to the gym. I was feeling really good. Ben and Marty and his wife and daughters flew over, and it was just like when Ben was starting to get pretty good at surfing. And like we had gone and surfed somewhere, and it was in Nusa Lembongan, and we had got like one of these little boats out to go and surf this, and it was just one of those days in Indo where it goes from being like a foot and playful to like huge, and you're just like, right, I'm checking out, you know. It's like I've had enough. And Ben was just like hanging in there, and I remember at that point it clicked. I was like, fuck, he's getting pretty good, you know. Like there was a kind of difference in the size of the surf. I was just like, I'm too scared, I'm out of there, you know. I've had enough. And Ben was like having the time of his life and just didn't seem to be phased at all, you know. And I think we were all speaking about it, and we were kind of like, that was probably the first time I thought, he's got a bit of talent, you know, something, Ben. There's something there,
because it's different, isn't it? Like, you know, we spoke about it a lot, but there's a lot of people that surf. There's a lot of adults, there's a lot of groms, and there's plenty of people that surf Nazare, but not a lot. I wouldn't say in the grand scheme of things there's a lot, but you add groms into that mix. Ben started doing that when he was 14. That's when that hookup happened, and he was out there when 14 charging Nazare. And I think there was one other kid about the same age. He's 18 now, isn't he? Not many people doing that. So that step away, you know, from just straight up competition surfing to I'm going to go surf big waves.
14 he did Mulletmore, didn't he? I think
14, he was at Mulligmore, but I think for like us, it's like, you know, we surf a bit, you know, but there's no kind of infrastructure to like nurture a surfer where we were living at the time, and like it's a total proud uncle moment, you know, like when you see somebody that you were kind of like pushing into waves as like a 2, 3, 4 year old. and then all of a sudden they've got like the Red Bull stickers, their names up next to like some of the top names,
you're
and you're surfing. And exactly, you're like, how did that happen? You know, but it's a testament to his parents. They've really like given up kind of everything, not just for Ben, but for their 2 daughters too. You know, like Robin rips as well.
Oh, they're knocking the door
right
behind.
Like they're like really, really good surfers, and Lily's a great surfer too. But they faced a lot of flack. You know, you're like taking your kids out of school.
Yeah.
You've got like the head teacher ringing you constantly saying, you know, this can't be done, and they just basically went, fuck you, we're doing it, you know. And that's, I find it really admirable. You know, my kids are just coming into school age now, and already you're kind of thinking, all right, okay, that's the fun over a bit, we're going to be at home in the winter time, you know. So it's they really kind of, it's a bit of an amazing story, Ben's situation,
really is,
especially growing up in Scotland, you know.
Totally. It talks to me about Tyree. Marty's always inviting us out there. I'm desperate to go out and live that life. So that's northwest of Scotland.
Basically west, dead west of Glasgow, So you're about, from the ferry from Oban, I think it's about 4 hours, or you could take a 40-minute flight from Glasgow.
How small an island?
It's pretty small. You're
Many
talking
people
like
on it?
700 people. Okay.
It's
really completely surrounded by beaches. It's a real paradise. Like,
but not as really. No, I don't know what I just said there. Not really a surf.
I don't know what any of you said all week, to be honest.
We're all going to need translators, I think.
But I'm always surprised how seemingly few people that live there surf, given the location.
Yeah. I think like you've got like quite a strong kind of tourist industry there. So a bit like, you know, down southwest England, where it could be dead in the winter time, and then you get this mass influx of tourists. So there's always been like a surf school and stuff. Marty and Iona run a surf school. But yeah, like the core population, you know, it's just people who kind of farm. There's a bit of a fishing industry, and for some reason, like surfing hasn't really taken off, although with the likes of wee Ben, you would think a lot of kids would be kind of sort of encouraged to get into it. But I think when I was living there was probably about maybe 6 of us that were surfing a lot, you know, like, so like obviously my brothers and just a few close mates. But
presumably you get some like serious consistent in serious waves.
Could be really, really good, you got like a wind factor there that could be annoying. You know,
everyone's just leaning into it.
But you do get these spells, especially at like back end August, September, that are just like consistent swell, sunny weather, light winds, you know, and you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's quiet, it's beautifully clean and gorgeous beaches.
And
it's a cool
I
spot.
think when Ben was on, he said like pretty much everyone leaves the island in winter.
More or less, it becomes a bit.
It's just that seems nuts to me that people just live there for like 9 months of the year or whatever, and then it's just like, nah, bye.
I think like the winters are tough, you know, like working on the fishing and stuff. That was kind of like a busy season for us, like coming up to Christmas and New Year, and it just got pretty bleak, you know, like consistently like 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds, raining, the surf's all blown out, it's cold, you know, it's like come January you're ready for a little bit of sun and a couple of bintangs, definitely.
And were you the first out there then? I don't know, like I say, you moved out there, were you the first of the family, or were
Marty was living out there already, so he had a kind of building business based around where we are now, like Dundee, St Andrews way, and he had kind of moved out there and had started building a house. That was maybe a little bit later on actually, but he more or less was like working out there, so I was going and just doing a bit of labouring and stuff for him, and then this kind of, you know, opportunity of working on the fishing came up, and I kind of done that. But yeah, that was, Marty was kind of first out there. He was really into windsurfing and stuff, you know, as like a sort of younger guy.
I suppose it sounds like the type of place to do windsurfing as well.
Top windsurfing spot, you know. They actually had a world tour stop, came to Tyree for like the equivalent of the WSL, but in windsurfing, you know, I think it's called the PWA. But they had this massive comp up there, and it was huge, you know, like all the top guys were there. It was really quite cool to bring it to such a small place, you know. But you need to go and check it out. You would really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, like Ben said and Marty said when we were at the wave, come over anytime, come over. No, my like book it would be like February, and then no would be there.
They've got like a really good setup, like an amazing beach hut on the sand, you know, like it's just like you walk out the door, you're on the surf. in their house as well. They got like half pipe and stuff in the garden. It's really cool, you know. And, like,
They've
few
got the
caravans and stuff lying about for travelling surfers.
They've got the best sign as well on the beach hut, don't they, on the surf school? I think it says something along the lines of, for beach hire, if they'll surf, good luck, because we're probably in it. It's something along those lines, isn't it?
It's a bit of an honesty box, a dishonesty box. Yeah.
Like any good surf school, if they'll surf, good luck.
Problem is with our trips, we got to justify, right, if we go there, we got to interview people as well. So if we go to Tyree...
Yeah, they're all going to be here on the mainland.
Yeah.
The surfers.
Yeah, and like you say, if there's not a lot of surfers there, we've not got a lot of choice.
It could become the UK fishing show.
Well, yeah, I
We
suppose.
could do some work while we're there.
Yeah, well, we do the allotment one with Leighton as well, and then we're fishing, allotment,
Oh, nice.
surf.
We've got all bases
I can see
covered.
surfing slowly coming out of this podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Just be a general podcast show.
Just the UK show.
That's it.
Yeah.
And talk to us about how did we end up with a cheesy toast shack?
Basically, I'm kind of trying to think back. I'd met my wife out on a surf trip to Indo, you know, and she was living in Brighton at the time, and she had been like out there kind of doing a bit.
Surf?
Kate doesn't surf.
I was gonna say, I've
Nah.
never seen her
She
surf,
just
but-
had gone there for like a holiday, you know.
Looking
and
for you.
Exactly, yeah. Turned into
Sorry,
a holiday
no,
from hell.
Yeah.
And we had kind of met and like we fell in love, like really quickly. And we were like, you know, if you ever heard of that celebration, Nyepi in Bali, it's like this.
No.
It's kind of like Halloween. You know,
Right.
so like they shut down the whole of Bali,
Okay.
48 hours, no lights, you can't go outside.
All right.
But we had met, the old one night stand happened, but Nyepi was the next day, so we had to like literally stay with each other for 48 hours.
So you were forced into it.
Forced into it, yeah. This
Were
has
you
been the
at the point
longest
of
48
leaving?
hours of our
You're at the
life.
point
Yeah.
of leaving at 6:30 in the morning, and you're like, oh, I can't leave. Doors are
I
locked.
just did not want to end up in like ballet jail, you know. So I was like, I'll just stay.
I'll just stay with you, and you just got out of control.
Yeah. So we had kind of come back. I had gone back out to Tyree, was doing a bit more work out there. She was living down south, and she was really like hating working, like doing teaching, and she was wanting something to get out of it. My brother Ben had started like this creperie, and he was doing all the festival circuits, and I was like, oh, this would kind of fit in well, you know. We could work hard in the summer, and then we'd have winter off to go and
Yeah.
travel. That's all we were looking to get out of it. So we went back to Bali again the following winter, and we were like, right, what are we going to make a go of this? You know, and Kate's
Yeah.
like, I'll move to Scotland, and we actually borrowed $3,000 off her dad, which at the time, honestly, it felt like shitloads of cash.
Yeah.
You know, like when
Yeah,
you're skint,
for
it's
sure,
like
yeah.
it is loads of cash, you
Yeah.
know, and you're approaching like a girl you've just met's dad. To be like,
Fair.
any chance to borrow a 3K,
Yeah.
you know, so your daughter can
By the
move
way,
up to
I'm
Scotland.
Sam.
Yeah. But he was so cool, and he like lent us the money, and like we bought this little kind of, it was just like a beat up sort of burger van that some
Okay.
guy had tried to make a go off. It never worked, and I like ended up decking it out, you know, just kind of making it look pretty inside. And the Cheesy Toast Shack was sort of born, you know.
Okay.
And I'd gone for dinner at a mate's house, and he's like, oh, I've got a little pitch at the beach. He's like, you're welcome to use it.
Okay.
And we were like, great, you know, we've nowhere to trade. Like,
Yeah.
but like I'd literally never made a toasted sandwich other than in like a Breville machine at home, you know.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like bigging up this business that I was like thinking, I'm going to be rich off this. This is going to be great. And we went away down to like Kingsbarns Beach, set up there. And like the guy was so cool, you know, the guy had given us a bit of land.
Yeah.
He owns a kind of local estate, and he had just done like a handshake agreement and said, come and do 2 weeks work at the estate, and that'll pay for your rent.
Yeah.
So like little bit of maintenance or whatever. And I thought, wow, that's really generous, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, started at Kingsbarns, made about £4 the first day we went down.
Boom.
And I was
Making
like
money.
thinking, this isn't going to work, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was we just kept going, and then yeah, that was it. We ended up, it started getting busier and busier, building up a bit of a reputation, and then the next thing, festivals, all that stuff, and that's what we really focused on.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
so it really grew from nothing,
Mm.
and I could say to anybody, it's worth giving it a go.
Yeah, totally.
Like I always believed in it. Yeah, I'm like pretty pig-headed. Like when I get something, it's like I'm kind of like, this is gonna work.
Yeah,
you know, I'm
yeah,
gonna make it work. And Kate's the same. She's like a bit of a social media guru, like Mitch.
Yeah.
Bit of TikTok star.
She is now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we were
Staff aren't so
speaking.
pleased about it.
Yeah, who were we speaking to in the Toasty Shack the other day?
Abby's like, oh, so I literally turn up for work, and like I've just got rocked out of bed, and then I see Kate turning up, all dolled up, and I know she wants to make a TikTok. She's like, yeah, cheers for that.
It's, she's been like, we've got 2 young girls, you know, so she's not been like working as much. She's been more at home, sort of being mum. And she's now got this new lease of life. She's like, I'm on it, TikTok.
TikTok famous.
Yeah. But it's been actually really quite good fun, you know, because we've loved being back at work as well, you know.
Totally,
And it's like, it's just something that I don't know. That we're lucky. The guys we've got working at the shop, they're just really nice.
You've always had a
hard-working.
solid crew in there.
We've had
fair,
the same crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always got an ethos. So like, I don't really like going to work myself. So like,
who does though? That's the thing, though.
But like, make it as fun as possible, you know, and like not be an arsehole to them.
Yeah, totally.
They're probably saying the opposite about me. Be like, he's a prick.
Wow.
That's why we're trying to make podcast work, because it's just fun.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. If you make it fun, then it's worth doing. You know, 100%.
And you had some awards along the way as well.
We had loads. So like, the holy grail of event trading is like the Edinburgh Fringe, you know.
Yeah.
So I just done my usual, like, talked my way into it, you know, kind of blagged my way into doing this big gig, you know, just the usual shit. Like, I've done it a million times before.
Too tough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we got this pitch at Edinburgh Fringe, and I was like, it was the first time we had actually kind of secured one of these bigger jobs. And then all of a sudden, like, the Scotsman had like voted us the best food truck at the Fringe. We started to getting more and more recognition. The phone was going red hot, folk wanting to book us in, and it was just like a little leg up, you know, to like help us on. And then over the years we've picked up. I don't think we've won anything since 2019. We need to up our game.
You're too busy spending all the cash.
So when did it come from being in a van to where you are now in St Andrews East Sands?
Yeah.
Look at me knowing the lingo.
It
Knowing
was
the geography.
I had gone for a surf at East Sands one day, and it was like a really cold, like January day, like freezing cold, and like the little kiosk was there, and I kind of looked at it, and it was like super run down, and nobody was using it. You know, it was like I could think all the times I'd been to St Andrews, I'd probably seen it open once.
Yeah.
And I'd said to like my brother Ben, I was like, oh really, that place is so underutilised. You know, if I was coming out of surf now, I'd be straight over for something to eat and a coffee, and car parks like full.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks later, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but we won another award. And we had gone to this like mega fancy like award ceremony at the Old Course Hotel, and we were voted like best food truck in Scotland or something like that.
Amazing.
And I was sat next to a woman, and she's like, "Oh, I heard through the grapevine that the kiosk at East Sands is coming up." I was like, "That's really bizarre." I was just saying to my brother, I'd love to get my hands on it. Yeah. And like a couple of days later, she had kind of made the contact with the landlord. Yeah. And the landlord was like, "Go for it, give it a go," you know. And we've been there now for, I think it's about 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
It's funny.
Still got the truck as well.
Still got the what?
Still got the truck as well.
The Land Cruiser or the food truck?
No, the food truck.
Still got it, yeah.
Still doing the mobile toasties or not?
Best $3,000 I ever spent. It's like, it's still on
the original one that's
yeah, that's the original one.
It's obviously
in the shop.
Yeah.
Who did that? I don't know who did that.
Still got
I
it.
think Mitch sticker bomb the whole of St Andrews actually.
All the bins are done.
We kind of like stopped the events a little bit during COVID. Well, there was none on during COVID, and focus more on the shops, but we still use it a lot for like private events, weddings, all that sort of stuff, which is
what I like
cheese toasty wedding. I would have done that if I thought
yeah.
Cheesy toast wedding.
Cheesy toast wedding.
What I like, and I guess if you don't want to talk about this, we can just stop and cut this out, but was lockdown, COVID stuff. I remember your ethos about paying your staff was actually really, it was just, I found it really humbling, because a lot of people were like, I just need to make sure my business stays afloat over the top.
We were like I always like think kind of like I guess I wasn't really thinking long term, you know, like when that kind of COVID thing kicked in, I was actually pretty scared, you know. I was kind of thinking, fuck, this is going to kill everyone. And all we had to do was basically just make sure all the guys' holiday pay was paid, and we didn't have any work for them. We were shut. And I was like to Kate, look, let's just pay all the guys what they're due. Like, they could cash in their holidays. Like, none of this, like, the funding and the help and the pay stuff had been announced, and I was like, just thinking to myself, I just thought, that's it, it's over, it's fine, we don't have any cash. I was due a big fat bill. It was just all pretty like doom and gloom, but in a weird way I was still kind of optimistic. I was like, it's been good for us regardless if it's finished. We just think of something else. So we got all the guys settled up, and we were left with like nothing in the bank, and it just came at that bad time of year. It was before like our busy summer season. We had obviously done what we do every winter, which is blow all the cash we had saved over summer on a nice sunny holiday somewhere, and we were just like, we've had it, that's fine. But as it transpired, we actually went into like, once we were able to get open again, we just went into like the busiest spell. It was insane.
The thing is, everyone was off and they were out walking, weren't they? So they're like, oh, I'll grab a while I'm going past, or something like that. I expect businesses that way. We're like, that's all right.
We like noticed, we've always been a kiosk, it's always been just takeaway. We've no seats. We've got seating in here, but the other shops are all like takeaway. So we didn't have anything to adjust. It was kind of the same offering as we had always been offering. Most folk, I think, were probably glad of the sort of familiarity. They'd just been able to do what they've always done at the Cheesy Toe Shack. It was turn up, go find a spot on the beach and sit down and eat. So it was cool.
I think what I've taken out of that so far is, you used to surf St Andrews, and all of a sudden you thought, if I work there, I can fucking surf whenever I want.
I remember that. Like, it was like, I'd never employed anybody before. And I was like, caught in between like a rock and a hard place, because I was like, fuck, if I was here in the morning, I would just be shut. I'd be going surfing.
Totally.
And then I was like, all right, what do I do? And you get this mega guilty conscience, and then afterwards I was just like, oh, fuck it. It's like, just do it. It's like, it's so, Mitch will tell you, it's so rare you get like good runs of surf on the East Coast, where we live, that I was like, just, if there's surf, go. The days are few and far between, but
What I like as well, I guess for people, because, since literally I was on the show, and it kind of started as this running joke, just banging on about the Cheese Toasty Shack the whole time.
Cheesy Toast Shack.
Cheesy Toast Shack. We're going to have to change the name. I'll just agree. But, like, people think it was just a toasty. And when the first time I came and surfed East Sands, and I'd met Swanee with gold teeth before that, who's a local legend, and he was like, have you had a toasty yet? And I was like, no, toasty, what are you on about? And then he was telling me about the Toasty Shack, and I was like, I'm not going to go spend money on a toasty when I can go make one at home. But then that first December's day, coming out of freezing cold water, getting changed in a windy, howling car park, and then seeing, the glow of Cheesy Toe Shack. I was like, I'll give it a go. And oh my God, it is the best thing. For all these surfers that are like, really into health foods and stuff, and they want to come out of the surf and get a quinoa. Fuck off. Toasty.
Welcome to Scotland.
Get yourself a toasty, athlete's lunch, but it's genuinely the best thing to come out and get. Like, proper warms you up from the inside.
It's proper. Like down south, it's just literally get out the sea, a warm pasty. Well, mine's normally a warm pasty and a can of Coke, which normally go together so well.
But that warm pasty has been warmed up because it was in the water.
It probably has.
So warm.
So he says basically live in France. Basically,
live in France. True.
Great. I don't know what you mean about. It's not cold. It's not even hardly rained up here or anything. It's glorious. I don't want people. I reckon it's a myth that Scottish people tell, so they get the whole of Scotland to themselves during the winter.
It's a good way of doing
you
it.
Fucking tourists.
It's the same principle as having a surf webcam on a beach. If you control it, if it's firing, you play footage from a day that's flat, so no one turns up, and then vice versa. Then you play good footage on flat days to get the custom in for your business.
You used to have the Cheese Toasty webcam, didn't you?
We used to have it, but it was the first thing I disabled just to keep that local beach a little bit quieter,
Quite right. And what about, it's obviously a uni town and a golf town. So the Toasty Shack side of it, you're sort of, who's your clientele generically?
Honestly, it's so varied. Like, we've got we've got these like loyal customers that come for coffee every day. They're there first thing in the morning, and if they're not there, you're kind of thinking, oh man, somebody's going to need to go and knock our door. Something's happened, But St Andrews, you're lucky. Huge tourist population and a massive university, so like we don't really have any quiet spots in the year. Winter time's a little bit quieter, but generally we've just got a good steady trade. And obviously, the surf crowd kind of keeps us going in the winter
I guess
time.
to put the Toasty Shack into a sort of community perspective as well, obviously when Bill Shackman had the cardiac arrest in the water, the card that we had made up for people to sign, it was the Toasty Shack the card was in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even just surfers, it was everybody in the community was going down
Yeah,
Toast
yeah.
Shack to just put a wee note on it. That's how much of a staple in the community.
We've always like had a kind of ethos with the Toasty Shack, which is like we are part of the community. You know, I grew up here. All the guys that work for us are from here, and like I say, we've had like amazing staff. You know, and people kind of use our shop. You know, when their kid grazes their knee, they know that we've got like elastoplast and whatever.
Plugging it with
That's a little bit of bread on it. You know, but we've kind of tried to build that with all the staff, you know, and like I say, they're just like good, friendly, great customer service, and you know, we sponsor like the local football team where I don't know, we just want to be part of it. It's not like virtue signalling, like saying, right boys, what have we got to spend money on to make us look good?
Yeah, totally.
Like it comes from the heart, you know, and I'm the first guy when somebody shows up and they've no money or they're a bit skint or be like, I've just lost my job. I'm like, just fucking have your lunch, you know. On us, it's no worry. And we
have a fucking queue of homeless.
How many
out there.
times can you use that line? Is there a time period? Does that expire?
Mitch is about to lose his job.
I've got like 2 weeks left, I think.
He's
and
on
it's done.
top discount already.
Sponsorship
I'm on top
discount.
discount not because of Instagram. It was because of having you and your mates up at the 1 o'clock gun that time when I fired the gun at the castle. We all
Did
came
Mitch
up.
tell you about that? No.
No.
Aye, like my mates still speak about it as like the best day of their life. So we had
They're
been
pretty
working.
boring, are they?
Very, yeah.
Spend a day with him. Oh God.
The thing is, we looked at it as well because obviously I was firing a 1 o'clock gun at Edinburgh Castle, and I'm confident by the time this comes out, I'm no longer in the army, so we can talk about it. If you look at the cost to go to Edinburgh Castle, like because you're going to bring the family as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
It was like close to 200 quid to get the whole
Yeah,
family.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
nuts. So I was like, I'll get you on the VIP because I think you were doing the Fringe, weren't you?
We were working at the Fringe, so like the middle Saturday of August is the busiest Edinburgh ever is at any point. And that was the day Mitch was like, come up and we're going to fire this massive gun over Edinburgh. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm the 1 o'clock gun guy. You know, which is this famous thing in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
1 o'clock every day, Edinburgh Castle, they like fire this big gun.
It happens in Glasgow at the same time, but it's just a gunfight.
See, I said to my mum, I was chatting to her, and she said that I said Mitch fired the 1 o'clock gun. She's like, oh, don't they only do that on like St Andrew's Day or Burns Night or whatever it is? I was like, no, I think they do it every day.
Every day except Sundays and Christmas Day.
So we, like my mate, one of the boys I was actually...
The Spanish dude, wasn't it?
Josh, he's Welsh, but he's half Jamaican, half Welsh.
You can see where the mix is.
So he had been up working for us at Fringe, and my mate Daz. So like Mitch took us down to like the armory and stuff.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
they got
like,
the full VIP tour.
Yeah, and then he was in all like the full regalia, and then I had just kind of forgotten about the tourist factor, you know.
Yeah.
So like we come up the stairs, like the armory is like underneath where the gun is. There's just like thousands, like what?
Oh yeah, because they're behind the
5,000
barrier
folk,
on the
you know?
VIP side, like where I would walk up.
So
Yeah.
there was like Mitch, myself, my mate Daz, and Josh just walking out. And everyone must have been thinking, who are these three other guys? You know, what are they doing? I was just in like basically what I'm wearing now. It was a really cool experience.
But
Yeah,
do you know what? Because I definitely wasn't using that for my own personal gain ever. As a social media whore. But I invited so Finisterre had opened a store in Edinburgh. So 1 o'clock. Obviously it fires at 1 o'clock. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah.
But you sort of turn up in the morning, do what I need to do my checks, get the 1:05 round out, and then that's it till 1 o'clock. Got nothing to do.
Yeah.
I would go down and hang in the Finisterre store because it was like they've got that kind of vibe, haven't they?
Yeah.
Just go chill and talk, and a lot of them were surfers. So, and I'd always had a good relationship with Finisterre anyway, so I invited them up, same sort of thing on the VIP. And normally, even if it rained, I would take all the gun covers off, because overnight, the covers on the gun, to keep it clean and whatever. And I would always just take them off, but for some reason I didn't, and I'd never done that before, and it was a howling, wet day. And then, same sort of thing, we were just chatting, surfing downstairs, and then I came up, because your timing's to the second, so I know that at 57 minutes or whatever it was, that's when I walk up the stairs, do my little spiel about, follow the Scottish surfer, nothing to do with Edinburgh Castle and the history of the gun. Fire my business cards out over Edinburgh. But I came up the stairs, so ceremonial dress, I've got the 105 round in my hand, ready to do my speech. As I'm about to do my speech, and the Finisterre guy's walking up behind me, I'm about to do my speech, I looked over at the gun, all the gun covers were on, and I was, which means you can't fire it, you can't load it. I was mortified.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, you know, this round, like, you can't put it on the floor because you might affect the percussion cap where it's struck and it goes off. So, and
that's the surfer and Mitch coming out
Oh,
late for a job that starts at 1 o'clock.
The thing is, I had to try and make it because it is. We figured out. We think it's the most photographed and filmed thing in Scotland because it happens every day. As a tourist
it will
attraction.
be for sure.
So you've seen it. There's thousands of people there filming it. And I had to try and make taking the gun covers off look ceremonial-like. Honestly, like I was so close. Like that day, the 1 o'clock gun became the 1 o'clock gun, and I was like, I've never invited anyone up here again. Cheers, Finisterre, just chatting shit about surfing downstairs. Mitch, you're not supposed to be somewhere. It's 25 past.
Do you know what? After like spending, well, I think this is the second week I spent with you now. That really wouldn't surprise me.
Absolutely true.
I'm not a morning person. It's 1:10. It'll go off when it goes off. So yeah, and then like this place, I always want to call it the Duke, but it's Duke, isn't it?
Just Duke, yeah. So like,
where's the name Duke come from?
It's just a kind of Scottish colloquialism for swim, you know. And like a
right.
mate of mine's, Kyle, had opened up a place in Lyme Regis called Swim.
Yeah.
And I just really liked the name, and I thought, I'm going to rip him off clean, but I'll change it to Duke, you know. So we were kind of toing and froing with different names, and again, this was another cafe sat empty over the whole of COVID, shut for 2 years, and we were like screaming at the owner, saying, "Look, if you're not going to use it, we'll take it over." But we managed to like sort of pull it off, you know. So I own this one with Robbie, one of my other brothers who lives down here too, and Gay, who's working today, was our manager at the Toasty Shack.
Yeah.
And we brought her round here.
She got upgraded.
Yeah. She got out the hustle and bustle of the
Got out
Toasty Shack.
the open-faced front.
Yeah.
Because the wind blows straight onto
I was
going to
say, where that is, I can tell the wind just blows straight through that main front bit.
Yeah.
The only thing that keeps you warm is the toasty behind you.
Yeah. So, this place has been open. It's just coming up for a year, and it's been super busy as well. It's just been great, you know. It's been really just another great opportunity. I always look back at buying that $3,000 van, and I remember my mum was just like, what you doing?
Yeah.
You know that way mums do, where they could be like, oh, it's not going to work, and I'm like, Mum, just give us some peace, you know.
Yeah. And $3,000. Otherwise, I have to ask Kate's dad.
Yeah. But
well, I remember. I'm sure you've told me this before, or Ben, your brother Ben, has told me. So when the Crepe Shack was set up, and that was started again in a van sort of thing.
Yeah.
That came out of just a night out in St Andrews or Dundee on the piss, and some random Russian saying, "Do you want to buy a van?"
Yeah.
Which is set up. Is that right?
That is 100% true. I'll never forget it. Like we were just
deals are done in Scotland.
Yeah. It was this guy Tom, who was like a mate of a mate, and he had this business at university selling crepes at the Students' Union, and he was heading back home to Russia, and he phoned Ben up, and he's like, look, we'd been speaking about this in the pub, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to get rid of it, and he's like, just give us like 700 quid, and we were like, fuck. Again, it felt like loads of cash, you know. In retrospect, it was like, fuck, if someone offered you that now, you'd bite their hand off. But we were like, how are we going to get the money together? And I think between him and his now wife, but his girlfriend at the time, she's French, it kind of just worked, you know, and they started up this massively successful crepe business. And actually it was probably him that spurred us on to get into it, you know. Like, we kind of seen that it was possible to do it, make a bit of money, and again, all we wanted to do, cash up in the summer, go surfing in the winter. That's what it was all about. So
basically, any festival you go to in Scotland, you've got Larg independent traders just down with all the vans, every single one.
Yellow 3-wheeled cars.
Dundee Del Boy.
Not that car out there. What's that one you've got out there?
Oh, that's
I'll put a photo
like
of
this an old Land Cruiser. So like living in Oz, I had one of these for work, and basically, like, when I got back to the UK, I was like, if I ever get flush, I'm going to like get one. I really, really loved the car. And do you remember it when it was kind of a wreck?
Yeah.
So like,
fully restored, isn't it?
Yeah. I kind of bought it as a bit it was just a bit of a heap, you know. It needed a lot of work, and I'd kind of like seen one pop up on like one of these car and classics. They're super there's 100 of those in the UK. They're really rare. And this one popped up. It was down in like Birmingham or Liverpool or somewhere down that way. And it was like 2 days before my birthday. And I was like, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And I think at that point, like, the old bounce back loans that every business seemed to get, I was like, what am I going to waste this on?
I know it's going on something not business related.
Cheers, Rishi Sunak. I was like, I'll get a Land Cruiser. Great. I'll pay that back up at over however long it is, 6 years or whatever you get to pay it back. So it was ideal. Dream car.
Yeah.
It's pristine, that thing as well. Because you've got it all kitted out on the inside, like
fully decked out.
We get a full video and overlay.
You're gonna have. It's actually pretty minging at the moment. It's full of like kids stuff. But
to be fair, the thing that always picks me up about that Land Cruiser is that normally your log lives on the roof. But you only strap the back of the log, so the front's got nothing on it, and your board's just sat on the metal bar. I always want to just strap the other side down for you.
I've always been like,
deal with that.
Honestly, like the roughest person with surfboards ever. I don't know why. Like, because I could only
I bet you never have one break either, do you?
I've snapped one board in my whole entire life, and it was the only board I actually really liked, which was a gutter. But I don't know why. I'm always just, I'll fix it. Fix it.
Mitch strokes his before he gets into bed and everything at night.
Mitch has got those little pristine Japanese style sort of wax jobs.
Every single one of them at the moment is broken in some way.
All my new ones have got cracks,
broke.
Which is devastating. It's like getting a new car. It's just a magnet to damage, isn't it? Like stones, chips, everyone wants to hit it. And that's your favourite car in your collection then, is it?
100%, by far. It's like, I've never been, honestly, selling those cars would be like the best business. Every time I go out in it, someone's like, is that for sale? Is that for sale?
Really?
And I couldn't part with it. I never thought I'd be one of those, like, car wankers that, like, loves a car so much they'd never sell it, but I've actually become one.
Fair enough.
So, how much do you get to go surf now then? Now you've a multi-million business and
just these regular heli trips out to the Mentawis, luxury yachts.
Sponsored by cheese, hence the show. It's actually made from cheese strings.
I've actually weirdly not been surfing a lot recently. I think like we had another kid 2 years back. And I don't know, it just kind of like knocked my wind out the sails a little bit. But I've been getting back into it. Like I say, I've done a trip Portugal, France. But it was one of those ones. It was either like no surf or heaving. And I was just like, I didn't feel fit. It was like, that way where like when you've surfed all right and then you start surfing shit, it's hard to keep the momentum going. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
It just starts shit and stays consistent.
No, literally, the last few surfs I had, I had one good one, but like up here, the last surf I had was the worst surf I've ever had, I think, as I've said like multiple times now. When you have that really bad surf, you need to have another good surf to get over it. And I'm just stuck on that. It was shit, and I can't get over it.
That surfing though, sometimes you go out and you're like, fuck, I've got this dialed, and then the next day you're like, you're on the same board, the swell looks the same, and you're like, fuck, I'm just not getting any waves, But it's a mindset thing, surfing, I reckon. You've got to be like kind of up for it, but not too up for it, if you know what I mean. The more hyped up you get, you're like, I'm going to have a great surf today.
We had one yesterday, and I had like an epiphany, didn't I, of speaking of like comparing it to all these other sports of like, skateboarding, snowboarding, all these like surf skates, everything like that. And surfing's that only thing where the whole time you're out there, you've got to be in the moment, because you can't like stop and go, I'll just have a break for a minute. Bang,
that's like Craig was saying about, it's not like skateboarding if you have a slam where you can just lay on the floor and reflect on it, because I guess the skateboarding, there's not another set coming right behind it.
You're just like on the scramble straight away.
Definitely. But so you longboard,
Longboard a lot, so like I got quite into like shortboarding and stuff as well, but like I was always finding I was just having better surfs, and I think living out in Noosa Heads for 3 years, just the type of wave it is and things, I was surfing the Mall quite a lot, but I love my longboarding.
I keep trying to tell Mitch if he gets on a proper longboard he'll enjoy it. And that thing he's got, a ridiculous piece of crap that he's got.
Seen it, the Firewire.
Awful. awful thing.
I've never got on well on those Firewire boards. I've actually got a Firewire longboard, but I just can't seem to get it to go at all. I don't know why.
I don't know how to longboard, so it's not the board for me, but it is going to go up for sale, I think.
Just go in the bin. You don't want to pass that on to anyone.
That'll pay for all my repairs on all the short boards.
Yeah.
And then what have you got coming up? You got anything on the cards?
Coming up, we've got another little shop that's like opening up at the other end of the beach. So that's going to be, it's just about 100 metres long.
Right, okay.
So it's just like an old ice cream kiosk, but we're a way to stick in a little seafood option. So just like really basic lobster rolls, crab rolls, fries.
Oh, it's not
Simple.
for me, so you'll be getting nowhere.
But
No
'cause
content.
it's kind of not something like we have on any of our offerings at the moment, but I've got mates with really good sort of seafood.
Local catch stuff as well.
Yeah. So like good seafood businesses in Edinburgh and things. So, and it's kind of like, that's what I used to, when I was working on the fishing, we were catching lobster and crab.
Sure.
So feels like a little bit of redemption, like a
full
circular economy
circle.
or whatever you call it.
Yeah. And how
I
about
love the fact that both of you, I've heard you say stuff like, oh yeah, I'll just pop over to Edinburgh or pop to like wherever. And I get in the car with him, he goes, oh, we'll just pop into the thing. He sat in the car for 2 hours, like, it's fucking nothing in between these places. Everything's miles apart.
Ah, no, I used to be like an adventurer. I'd be in the car going away like anywhere there was surf, but now I'm just like, oh God, Dundee, 15 mile away. I don't think I'm going to bother. It's a bit too far.
how about best wave or best surf experience?
Best surf experience? Oh, trying to think. I've had some blinders up in Tyree. Just those days where, like, it's just me, wee Ben, one of my brothers, nobody else out. And you're just getting that, like
everything's perfect.
Everything's
The weather's
perfect.
good, the
Light
waves are
offshore,
classy,
sunny.
yeah.
I've had loads of good surfs like that up there. But I guess just like everybody else, you get the classic ones in Indo where all the stars align, and also like Australia and things. There's been some good trips, but I think like here, when you get a good swell, even like the local spots, Kings Barnes, Lunan Bay, it's like when they're on,
Beeping that.
Yeah, probably.
You could just get, and it kind of feels a bit more special. It's like every other day in Indo is good, but it's like once in a blue moon
especially
here.
if you've waited for it, it makes it more special,
100%,
doesn't it?
yeah.
How about worst wipeout or worst experience?
I had this like mad issue with like dislocating my shoulder like for ages and ages and ages. I'd done this one about 15 times. And I'd gone out to surf in about 2-foot surf in Tyree, like the smallest day, but it was just like this weird kind of rip, and like took off on a wave, like dislocated my shoulder, got caught in this rip and started getting taken around this headland, but I was just like unable to swim, and I was like fuck, and I was kind of beginning to panic, thinking how am I going to get out the water. I like managed to like ditch my board, scramble up this kind of rock, but it was like super sharp, all like covered in barnacles, like feet were shredded, and then I fucking dislocated my other shoulder. So it was just like, and I don't know, have you ever done it before? Like,
I've dislocated my finger, but not a shoulder.
Like, the pain, honestly, is just absolutely brutal. And I just got a new wetsuit, and I had to get it fucking cut
You said
off.
this yesterday. It's always when it's a new wetsuit.
It was like a curse.
I think if you get a new wetsuit, you should just wear it in the house for like 5 days.
Yeah. And it was like new 5mm XL suit, like cut off, clean right down both arms, and then I think I had to end up got one of them put back into place in the surgery, and they couldn't get the other one back in, and I think I got flown off Tyree, but it was like 4 hours with this shoulder hanging out of place. It was
pretty
grim.
up there with on the worst
yeah.
I thought my mate had it bad when he told me the story of he had cramp in his leg, so he got out of bed and got cramp in the other leg, so he just ended up on the floor. I thought that was bad, but like I just imagine like because it's not the dislocation that hurts, is it? Because once it's out, you're just like and then it's like, and you try and do anything or try and move it, and it's like, oh, that's the bit that hurts.
Yeah. It was like the doctor who put mine back into place was just like a trainee that they had brought up.
So
it was
the cleaner just come at a work experience.
He's like, look, I've never done it before, and he was literally like looking at a YouTube video on how to do it. And I was like, they'd given us like loads of morphine and stuff like that, so I was kind of out it and like gas and air, but one of them went back like really easily, but the other one just wouldn't go. And every time he pulled it, I was like, I'm passing out. This is excruciating. And he's like, look, if I don't do it this time, there's like a chance we could do more damage, you know, and I'm going to need to like get you to the hospital. Yeah, but then I was plagued with that for years. You know, once they had come out, they just came out all the time. And every time I went for a surf, I was like, it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
They reckon it takes about a year or two for a dislocation to reset properly, don't they?
I ended up like after that had happened, I think, like I say, this one's come out maybe 10, 15 times. And I got it all like kind of operated on, screwed up, and that one's never ever came out of place since. But the other ones feels good, but you know, I've not had any like work done on it.
Well, just don't surf when you wetsuit. And
that's it. Boardies all winter.
Yeah, it's all. You don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, it's great to like finally meet you and get to chat to you properly, because as I say, every time Mitch has been on, and then every time anyone Scottish has come on since, or anything like that, or anything to do with cheese or toasties, or just a random, how's your day? Cheese toasty shack. Cheesy toast shack.
Cheesy toast.
It's your fault. You got it wrong, and now I get it wrong all the time.
No, but the name's backwards, isn't it?
We're
that.
going to make it longer. It'll be the world famous Cheesy Toast Shack now.
Based in St Andrews.
The email address will be 3 feet long.
St Andrews is now known as the home of the cheesy toast.
That's not a bad show, is it?
It's like, honestly, we pinch ourselves like every day. Like even yesterday, average day, and we've got like queues down to the beach. It's insane.
Actually, because I see obviously on the stories all the time, you have some pretty big deal guests coming up, don't you? I think I saw Marty Pello there recently.
Yeah.
From Wet.
Did you feel it in your fingers?
I felt it in my toes.
Nice. There's a generational joke happening here.
Yes.
Everyone else will be like, what?
Yeah, that's most of my jokes people have to Google.
Who do you think's the biggest dog you've had?
The biggest dog?
Yeah.
Davy Larg, by far.
Biggest celebrity then?
I think the biggest one we had was the guy that plays Spider-Man. Is that Tom Holland? Yeah. And he's got like 20 million people or something follow him on Instagram, you know. And
did he do a cheesy toast story?
He came to the Fringe. So like we've got a converted shipping container we based down there like for August, and he was at the stall. And the other big one was the guy that plays Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Joffrey.
That like, you know, the really horrible king. So I just watched like the whole
the one that went out the window.
Yeah. So he was down as well, but yeah, we get loads of
Spider-Man. So I guess the obvious question: did Spider-Man pay for his toasty?
Of course, mate. Yeah. That's it.
20 million followers. Spider-Man pays for his toasty.
So I'm right. You don't
the
get
Scottish surfer doesn't.
Well, you don't get a Land Cruiser giving away toasties, do you?
So So we get like, and anyone who's passing through town, it seems to be like a thing you do when you come to St Andrews, is come to our shop, which is great.
What about in here? Do you get like golfers and stuff coming here?
Them all. Like we just had the Open last summer, so we were getting heaps of folk just sticking their heads in. You know, we never had Tiger Woods, but like a few of the other big guys. I don't know them all, but what's the Irish guy, Rory McIlroy? He'd come in,
Did Kelly pop in?
He was here because they were doing something with the Wave Project, but I was off that day. I never actually caught up with them.
You should sell some like really cheap, nasty golf clubs in here, just in case one of their golf bats breaks.
Bats.
And then golf bats. They could be like, go in there and get a driver. It's plastic, but at least you've got one.
One of those kids ones.
It's the first person I've ever heard call them bats. I've heard them clubs and sticks. I've never heard anyone call them bats. I always
knew he was ignorant, though.
Just did. If it's not about him, he don't care. I'm surprised it's lasted an hour talking to you. But where can people find you online? And
we've got mainly like Instagram, now TikTok, thanks to my wife. But I don't know the.
Sam done his first TikTok recently.
I was a natural, Mitch?
You were a natural.
Yeah, he texts us straight away. He's like, "You've definitely got a face for the radio."
I said, "You're going to be doing unboxing videos soon."
You get us on Instagram at I think it's the Cheesy Toast Shack. So we do all our social media and stuff through there. And if anyone's passing through St Andrews, stop in. Yeah. And certainly if you surf, stop in and say hello, and put you on to some of the good spots.
Yeah, get some cheese toasties.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Get some
surfers discount.
100 always.
That
20%.
we were filming in here the other night as well. There was a
Yeah.
pasty going at the end of the night, and it's like, do you want the pasty? It's bloody lovely pasty.
Yeah, yeah.
Better than anything Mitch has given me anyway so
We
far.
know if we've got guests coming from the southwest, we've got to sort of make sure that they're well looked
Catered
after with
for,
local
yeah.
cuisine.
He keeps trying to give me weird stuff that apparently is Scottish, but Ben had never heard of any of
Like,
it.
yeah, actually, Ben didn't know what red cola was.
Red cola, that's the old bar's drink, isn't it? Red
Yeah.
cola, yeah. It's like that. Almost looks like ruby red. Sort
Almost
of
as almost as Scottish as Iron Brew.
Yeah. Which
I was-
Ben's that?
Little Ben.
Oh, did he not?
No, I'm really shocked at that.
The young crew, mate. They're just
Different game.
I was going to say Iron Brew's not the same. They changed the recipe, didn't they?
had to sugar content.
Since I introduced him to tablet, he's had about 14 bottles a
Yeah,
day.
Tablet's
I'm
amazing.
surprised you've
Recommend
still
one.
got teeth left. Eh?
They recommend
I
one
had
bar
to buy a
in your life.
tablet on the way home and picked his truck up and ran with it. It's amazing stuff.
He's got a Scottish pie to try today. He's not had one yet.
Gay's mum literally makes the best tablet you've ever had. Eh?
I told you,
Is it your
homemade.
stepmom or your mum, Gay, that makes the tablet? Yeah.
Oh, it's all about homemade tablet.
Got any on you? Come
got
on, I'm
tablet
itching for some.
Pushing tablet.
I'm like a crackhead for tablet now. I'm just
Sell it
like,
on the street
come on,
corners,
tablet.
Be snorting it.
Yeah.
Don't give him ideas.
So yeah, thanks for coming on.
I really appreciate it. Hey, thanks for coming down, and yeah, great to see y'all.
Yeah, cheers, Sam.
Magic.
Boom.
Cool.
Thanks, Rob. Red Leicester and chorizo, my favourite. Thank you so much, Sam.
Yeah, I can't remember what I had, but it was nice, whatever it was.
Oh, did you get?
The video- there's
Didn't
a
you get
video
the
of
mac
pictures-
and cheese?
No, I didn't. I got something. It's some cheese and meat product in it, but it was like I ate it, and it was like you stuck a phone in my face and went, "What's it like?" And I was just like that.
Oh, did you?
Worth the wait. Like,
Just
yeah,
pretty much how you talk and eat
pretty
anyway.
much how I talk and eat anyway. Oh yeah.
No, by the way,
get one in,
Pete's still
get
got
one
that
in.
toy.
That toy's
But
really
how
good.
cool is Sam, man?
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, like you said, so nice, and like nice to hear stories of like how he started with surfing, and like the family and all the Largs. They're just nice people. The Largs. I think they can't spell large, but they're all nice people. The Larg.
I think what I like, I really like the idea of having them all on the show, like little Ben,
that's
Sam,
nice.
the other Ben who runs the Creep Shack.
Yeah.
There's loads of them.
Shack,
like-
that sounds dodgy as the crep
well, it's
shack.
a creep. creep. You keep saying creep. I don't
Creep,
get the reference. Is that TLC? Some people don't get that. Some people won't. But I love the idea of having them all on. And Marty, little Ben's dad, they're just a cool family. And
Yeah.
I love that they all surf though. Like the whole family, like it's enormous. Like I think they pretty much own Dundee. They're like the land owners of Dundee.
I think
There's that many.
I think they're in Scotland. Actually, it might be they spread out so far, but every single one of them I've met is absolutely lovely.
And that's a testament of how nice they are because they all to your face say you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
not an easy thing to do. Obviously,
I
that's
know.
not what they say when you're not there.
Obviously, once they've left, they're bloody English. Yeah.
But
But yeah, no, it was great, and thanks a lot, Sam, for letting us use Dukes and feeding us and everything. Absolutely great. Just waiting for my T-shirt. Just disappointed that it's still not here, and
you've not mentioned it, so
I've got to wear my normal civilian clothes. But your brother gave me a T-shirt. I should have worn that on this one. Actually, I said to him I was going to, just to prove the point that you hadn't given me the T-shirt yet. So
which also is covered in cheese, but that's just a testament to how you live your life.
yeah, it is.
Hey. Where were you on the little machine thing?
Yeah. Well, where's my little machine thing? Oh, sorry.
Hey, it doesn't work if it's too late.
sorry. I'll get better at it. I just don't want to overuse it. It's literally for me to make me feel better because you talk so much. So every time I talk, people can be like, "Oh, thank you," stuff like that.
Nice. I think that's the thing. You can get people that follow you around, and you can get like these. You get like experience days. That might be driving a racing car and stuff like that,
Yeah.
going paintballing or whatever. One of them is it's the paparazzi experience. So you turn up and there'll be people that literally get out and there'll be like 15 photographers not actually taking photos, but following you around like you're a big deal.
That's what you
There
do
you
every
go,
time you
man.
get to the beach, isn't it?
That's what it's
I'm trying to
actually
work
like.
out this little sound machine how I can record my own sounds, and I think I've worked it out because I've now got a skibidi-bidi-bidi-bidi-bidi-bidi,
It's just,
skibidi-bidi-bidi-bidi-bidi.
it's like listening to shit radio. I feel it for anyone.
So it's going to be like, wait till I've got them all programmed up, and I'm just going to find clips of shit that you've said on the podcast, and just
Oh, can
like
you do that?
program them all in to you just being an idiot, going. "Hibidi-bidi-bidi-bidi-bidi."
I'm pretty sure you just used yourself as an example there. Did I not? Did you tell me once that you used to do hospital radio, or have I made that up?
You've completely made that up.
All right, okay. It just you seem like somebody that would.
It seems like I got the face for radio.
I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, like, imagine you coming in the ward when I'm on my deathbed. Like, oh my god, things aren't actually that bad.
Hey,
Did you just put
and
me on a
welcome back
thing?
to Hospital Radio.
See, I told you did it.
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah, man.
yeah. So we digress. We're just going stupid now because I got sound effects board, and it's going to ruin everything. People are going to be like,
When
"What
you
the hell's
say we've
happened?"
gone stupid,
Well,
I
I
don't
say
have access to the
I've got
buttons.
stupid. You got no access. Yeah, because if
I've
you
got
did
no
it,
access.
literally every time I talked, it would just be like like across the top of me. So yeah, thanks a lot, Sam, for coming on, and thanks again for letting us use Dukes and feeding us, as we said. It's just nice guy. Thanks for coming on.
And you know what? If you're ever in St Andrews, there's two beaches, East and West Sands. East Sands is where the cheese toasty shack is, or the cheesy toast shack is.
Yeah,
And on West Sands, which is the golf course, that is where you'll find Duke Scotland, which is like, I guess, an upmarket version of the toast shack.
which is
Much posher meat.
the best beach to be on if you're gonna have a heart attack.
Well, I think the DFib is more accessible and easier to get to at East Sands. But West Sands is an enormous beach. It's miles long. So depends where you have the heart attack, I guess.
It'd probably be on East Sands. It's a smaller beach.
I would choose East.
I'd choose
I would
East.
choose East.
Yeah,
Plus, it's got a good track record so far.
yeah. Well,
100% success rate.
100% success rate that you know of. But yeah. So thanks to sponsors of the show, Srface, and if you want 10% off of Srface wetsuits or anything on the site, use the discount code UK Surf Show 23, and that will get you 10% off anything you want from Srface wetsuits.
Thanks for listening. We've been your hosts.
Yeah,
Check us out in Wales.
check us out in
Let
Wales.
us know let us know who you want us to speak to. It's coming along nicely for now.
Yeah, well, I think by the time this comes out, we'll almost be almost going to Wales by the time this one comes out, I think. What have we got?
Potentially, we might even be in Wales.
Well, yeah, no, there'll be a couple left, but yeah, so look forward to Wales, and we'll have more details following soon. Go over to Buy Me Coffee, because we're just about to record another bonus episode, and throw it out on there.
Are they?
Yeah, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye.